I switched
That's
on
rough.
the recording.
Okay.
Yellow being okay?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure, but I'm doing better.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just a bit confused these past weeks, but nothing to worry about.
Okay, but confused about what? About your physical body or mental state or what?
No, just mentally, like I don't know. There's some things going on, but
I see.
You guys have made a lot of progress over the last couple of weeks, so I was
Oh yes,
pretty
I
very
mean
amazed.
no, not me.
Amazing. Wow.
That's Yella. Yella
no,
getting
Yeah.
all
not
the work.
even. It's not even that much progress. It's only like connecting a few dots together, and it just worked. So
Yeah, that makes the whole system work.
basically, the whole preparation we did in the past months, it's all coming together now. So it's nice to have like some progress that you can actually see. And it was also because I had like 2 weeks off or 1 week off, so I have some more time during the holidays.
Right.
And many people were impressed at the Shinkai with the Shinkai is the New Year's reception for Safecast, and I was presenting the Zen and the bGeigieZen cast, and many people were excited about it, so that was good.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good.
I showed pictures and some videos from some parts from the meetings I showed, very short, only about 2 minutes or something like that. Like I can show you later if you're interested in the video. It was short, so.
I could put it on the YouTube maybe.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I can do that. Yeah, you can watch if you want to. But that was interesting to meet so many people, and they were excited about. And some orders came in, but not so many yet. So, let's see.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Still have some time to work on it now.
Yeah. If we can get the locking done, then I think we can really already push it out. But that's a whole different story, I think.
The log viewer, you mean? Like
Yeah, the log
uploading.
viewer. Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying. It should be that hard. It depends on the API as well. I still haven't run tests with the API if they currently accept it with like the API key on that same endpoint, but I assume it won't. That's just an assumption I'm making. I just have to test it. I'm not assuming it will work. So
you should check the code from the sorry, the Solacast Nano, because I remember Ray was sometimes sending blocks of data. I'm not completely sure. So if it's sending blocks of data, it's nearly a whole, how would you say?
Well, we could send blocks of data to the API, like the what's it called? Like where we also send the fixed mode data, but it should be like in a like a log file upload, like a bGeigieZen import that should be approved,
that is
etc.
nice.
So that's the idea. Yeah, well, else we have to contact the API guys to ask, create an endpoint
API guy
can
is here these days. API guy.
Okay, well,
I'm the only one.
if you have access to the code and like know the infrastructure of the code, then
I have some understanding of the code, and if we really want to dig into the code, we have to go to Etosan. Etosan is he keeps the maintenance of the setup, and he knows the coding very well, but he's not always available.
Right.
So
I'm not sure if it's. I wouldn't expect it to be like a big change. It's only adding an additional endpoint, and the handling of the file would be the same, with just different authorization through the API key instead of like a login like key that you have if you just log in with a cookie or whatever. Maybe you can see if you can find out more about it.
Yeah, I can
from
try
the
to find
code.
out, see what's possible. But
I can also take a look at the API code. I
yeah,
assume
if
it's
you could do
straight
that,
up.
that will be good. But that would speed up the whole process, I think.
Yeah, that might be better. Okay, I'll take a look and I'll let you know what I can find, and maybe you can take next steps in that.
Okay, and also Peter was suggesting that if we have if we're sending a log file, to have a QR code displayed, so you can directly
Oh
go
yeah, yeah.
from the. Oh, that's what you're
That,
planning.
that was the idea, yeah.
Oh,
So
great.
I think we had design. No, we didn't.
No, we
Designs.
didn't have design yet, I think, for that.
I think we kind of did. Let me just check the old. What's it called again? Miro.
Miro?
I forgot my login, I think. Is it this one? Maybe. Okay. I'm in the Miro. I'm just looking at the old designs.
One other thing, Jelle, I noticed when using the Zen that the the boot screen, the flash screen, it comes up twice.
Really?
Yes, it goes and then it stops, then another one comes, and then it starts.
Maybe it probably crashed then.
Crashed, but it's consistent.
It's considered like
Consistent. Two times always.
did you check the like the serial output if you have it
No, I
connected?
didn't check anything yet. I just noticed
Okay.
it. I suppose I should.
But if it's consistent,
It's repeatable.
I mean,
So.
maybe I don't know. You have to check the serial output. That's
And
my suggestion.
and one other thing on the gray, I found out that sometimes on the gray if it's in fixed mode, it switches the menu. I don't know. Seems like the buttons sometimes get, but it's strange. Or both gray M5 stacks, they sometimes I found the screen in the menu mode. While I'm surely before I set it to another mode, to fix mode.
Yeah, it might be button.
But that's
Like
strange. It's always
connection.
different. Is after a while it goes cook. It's suddenly the menu pops up while nothing is being pushed.
Maybe it is the hardware like triggering a button, but that would be very.
That's I don't know.
There's nothing in the code that would make it pop
Yeah,
up.
I think so too.
This is very weird.
Yes,
Well,
I
I don't
thought
have
so.
a gray, so I can't really run tests. But
I
if it's
haven't.
after a while,
Yeah, and I haven't seen it with the black one, and I haven't seen it with the Core 2.
Well, I think again, I would just connect it to the to a laptop and
Yeah,
read the
and then check.
serial output, and
That'd be great.
then after a while it should switch again,
Mhm.
and then there should be something in the output.
Yeah, okay, I will check that. Yeah.
Although I'm not logging button presses themselves, I'm just saying what you switch
But
to.
there's another screen. I mean, it should show that it switches screen.
Yeah, that it would, but it doesn't show like what triggered it. So if it was a button or I don't know what else.
I have
There's
no
nothing.
idea.
Okay, that's very weird.
No, it's for later. It's not so important, but because there are not many grays around. So
No, that is true, but still, it's a weird thing. Maybe it is a gray issue, that the gray has some button fluctuations in voltage. I don't know, just saying something, and then it triggers the button sometimes, and then we can just say don't use a gray.
Or maybe the power chip. There's something.
Yeah, I could make the like a debounce for the button. I think it's already something I don't have the code open at the moment. Like make it a bit longer. So on the gray you'd have to hold it like maybe a tenth of a second or something. Maybe something that will fix it.
Yeah, that could be too.
Because now if it's just like very fast click, like some voltage running through somehow, it will also trigger a button, I think.
Yeah, could be. I can imagine that would.
Yeah, I'm just using the M5 button library for the triggers, so I'm not too sure how they handle them in there. I can do some checks. Maybe it's already in there, but I'll have to check. Just opening the code quickly to see. Yeah, it's currently on 0, so 0 milliseconds. I could increase it to 5 or something.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
Maybe that will.
that will stop it. Let's do it then, just to be safe. It's better, I think. Good idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or maybe even 1 will fix it, or 2.
Yeah, I think 1 millisecond is not too long. I mean,
well, for like a random trigger from the hardware would be very short, I would
that's
assume.
true.
But yeah, we can. I'll push this. I have a lot of different changes from the past weeks, but I haven't really.
Great. Looking forward to the changes.
Well, it's not that much. Well, it's a lot of random changes mostly. Few small fixes, like starting the logging when you enter the screen.
Okay, that's a good one. Yes, important.
As well as the configuration to do it manually, because I prefer it manually anyway.
Yes,
so.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll push that sometime today. I don't know what other changes I have. I think there are some changes on the screens, the logging. Yeah, I was also trying to figure out what the GPS was doing.
Yes, that was also funny. It was jumping.
Yeah,
maybe
so
Michael, did you see what my post for that? That the GPS on some areas, when I had a long trip from my house to Tokyo, and then suddenly somewhere halfway it goes boom, completely different off, and then comes back again.
Right. So, you know, I with the processors that I'm using, I'm seeing this mapping problem with I saw it with the teensies, and you could just put this fix in regardless, just to add data. So the problem is that on these 32 and 64-bit processors that have 32-bit um, buses, that if you develop a library and it has these data structures, and the data structures are not a multiple of 32 bits, right? It's not going to take a data structure and then put another data structure right that's going to share the same 32 bits. So it creates a gap. But if you do size of, you get the original size of. So what I'm thinking is going on is what the compiler is doing is it's not taking into account this. And that library, that SparkFun library, has tons of data structures that are not 32-bit boundary compliant. There is also another issue of of just having a data object like a Boolean that doesn't take up 32 bits. And I've proved this with and this is only on the Teensy, I proved this, where I took a data structure, I compacted it down, so it's sharing bytes inside of 32 bits for Booleans and for bytes, and my code fails, and then I take and I put in padding, byte padding to make them all 32-bit objects, and then it passes. So
Interesting.
yeah.
But
So
this,
what I did,
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. What I
No,
did,
no,
the
you
fix
first.
the fix I did was where you define that object for that ublocks data in the code, just add I think I added 8 32-bit just the objects there to because that's where it was overriding. I had defined that, and then I had defined my own data structure for receiving GPS data, and it was right it was writing into that area, and I could literally move things around and see and move. I would like, all right, let me add a byte in between those two objects, and then the interference moved by a byte. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Between
okay.
those two objects, if I put something in between them, it moved it, and so I kept adding data, and then when I found it, okay, I'm past now. It's in all that dummy data that padding that I put in absorbed it. I doubled that size. That's where I came up with um 32-bit 32-bit objects to account for the problem.
Wow, that's
Sorry,
very interesting. But that means that all the bGeigii Nano will do the same, or not?
I would think that
Yes, I think
those are
so.
32-bit processors, so yeah.
And I think that was maybe one of the problems that we never could figure out, because yeah, there were sometimes random points, and they were I couldn't explain.
Yeah, so
Nobody could explain.
this is not a memory leak issue. This is a memory allocation issue.
Yeah, yes, I understand.
Yeah, so it's not this random thing that occurs. It was very specific to how it occurred. And I was just very fortunate that I structured my code so that I could actually see it literally in real time.
Wow.
But
Nice
is this
work.
only with the ublocks then? ublocks
Only
library.
yes.
But the Nano didn't use ublocks.
No, true. They're using the teeny GPS plus
Tiny GPS
library. But maybe that has a similar problem.
It might.
I mean,
Yeah.
Perhaps. So I think that one didn't use like data allocation on the heap. The tiny.
I don't know. I'm not familiar so much with the structure of the code.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just know that the ublocks library creates pointers to the heap memory where they create like the data structures. So I'm not too sure where the leak would be, because if you create 8 32-bit dummy values, those would be on the stack then, on the stack memory. If I'm right.
Right. And
At
I
least that was what I was thinking when I read your story. I was like, would that really fix the issue? But if it did, I'm kind of curious what's kind of happening. Yeah,
it did. And so yeah, as it's if it's goes into that that class and it allocates those structures onto heap memory, it's just putting them in order, and that's where the problem occurred.
Yeah, but the heap allocation is on the other side of the memory. So if you create then some dummy variables would be on the stack, and then like they would be on different ends of the memory stack, basically. But
No, I'm
maybe
talking
I'm
about
understanding.
it's creating an instance of that ublocks library, and then it's creating instances of these 32-bit values, and then it's creating an
Right.
instance of my data structure. When it creates those
Okay.
instances, yeah, that's where it's happening.
That's
It's
all in the
not
stack
in the
then.
definition, it's in the allocation of instances of those things. And that's where I was seeing this data being overwritten because the way it allocated the data was not
I mean,
clean.
it would make sense that there would be issues because when we did the allocation of the uBlocks instance in the GPS connector class, it wouldn't start up. Like sometimes it would crash. At least on my device it would crash, and then on Lewis's device it would work. And then at the end I was like, I'll just move it outside because I'm not sure what's going on. But
Yeah,
when we
you
moved
might
it
have just
outside,
moved.
it started working.
Yeah, but think about that. You just moved a problem outside to some
Yeah.
random area. Put it
I thought it
back
was just
in.
something else. Yeah,
Yeah, put it
it's
back
very
in and
weird.
put that padding in there and see if it works. Right?
Well, we kind of want it outside right now because we might
Okay.
add another worker which also uses the same instance but
Right.
connects like differently or adds
Okay.
different commands.
But
So,
All right.
but Michael, if you can make a patch for it and we can try it out. I mean,
Sure. Sure. I can do
yeah,
that.
I'd like to see if that makes a lot of difference.
Right.
yeah, what did you use like in 32 values just after the
UN
instance
32 T values. Yeah.
and
Just
also use
32
them
byte.
somewhere? Else the compiler would just remove them. I think if you don't use values.
It obviously didn't remove them. They were defined in a class. So and the compiler obviously didn't remove them because I literally could see I added
Oh,
these.
okay. I see.
Maybe the fact that it's in a class, it doesn't remove them.
I think let's see. So if I add like const expression, is that the same? Like into hmm. All right, I added some values. I'll see what happens then.
Yeah. Is that in a class, inside of a class, or it's outside of a class?
No, it's outside right after the um right
Right.
after uBlocks
Right.
declaration.
Right.
Um, yeah, I'll check it after the meeting
Okay.
to see
Okay,
what
great.
happens.
Yeah.
Do we have more things to talk about? Because I think we have 7 minutes left or something like that.
All right. I could just give you a quick update on the emulator.
Oh, I'd like to hear that.
I've gone through and cleaned up the code. So I really liked Yella's idea that I have one built-in set of emulated GPS data that we can use so without an SD card. And so the the device I came up with, let me share my screen. Uh, Not this. This Adafruit Feather data logger. They make the same thing without the SD card, and it's still the same price as $19 US. But I just wanted to come up with one example of a simple device without an interface. So the way I was thinking it would work is that when it starts up, if there's no SD card, it's just doing emulation of the built-in data. All right. And it just, like I said, it's a loop that I drove, and it just so you'd be going around exactly in the same circle infinite number of times. It keeps updating the time as you go through. I also added in the first 10 seconds is unlocked data,
Yeah.
just to give you a starting point. So if there is an SD card inserted and it does have a file in it by a certain name, then it will use that for GPS tracking. And if you insert the SD card and it doesn't have that file, then it could be used for logging data onto the SD card.
Yes, very nice.
All right, so you don't need a user interface for it. And yeah, so that's what I came up with.
And
sounds good.
it has an USB-C on it, or what does it? It looks like
It's unfortunately it's a
D.
micro
Okay.
micro USB connection. It's a older device, but it doesn't have to be this device. I was just picking one that I could.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice if it can run on that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So anybody, if you have you know, the RP2040 or whatever like that, some small device, it should work fine. Oh, the other thing is that it has the M0, the MD21 device that's on the processor on there has a built-in real-time clock, which I think is necessary because if you're just running on micro, the drift is actually pretty significant. So if you're running this loop for a long time, your 1 second time interval for updating is going to be way off. So I like the fact that it had the real-time clock built into it. And with the first data that it captures off of the emulation, it locks to that. So that's where I got
your
that.
code will also run on a 2040.
Yeah, it should work on any code. I haven't compiled it for that, but I compiled it, you know, the same code that runs on the Teensy runs on this device.
Okay.
So I have an RP2040 device and I could just set up the platform IO to add that processor in there to see if it compiles correctly. I have to change things to get for the real-time clock. I have to change things for the timer that's built into it, interrupt timer that's built into it. But
because
you know,
the new 2030s, you can get them like this big. I mean, very nice and small.
Oh, right, the really tiny
Tiny ones.
RP2040s. Yeah,
They're amazing.
yeah.
I have a few.
Yeah.
Of them.
Yeah.
Even with a display, if you want on them.
Right.
Okay.
So that's where I am with that.
Oh, thank you for the update. That's very useful to know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Wish I had
progress
it.
you made.
Yeah, I wish I had it 2 months ago, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But better now than maybe 2 months
Right.
ago we were not ready for it, but now you're ready for it. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
good.
All right.
Okay. So we still have 2 minutes left if you want to say other things that we think are important.
What else did we talk about here? Let me just go back to the list. Yeah, there was the serial interface pin mapping. I just wanted to confirm that we could do that with the Groove connector. That would be great. Then no changes are required for the board.
Yeah,
I
what do
know
you
that
think, Jelle?
there's a serial. There's 3 serial hardware serials on the ESP, and we use the second for or UR2 for the GPS and UR0 is for the USB connection. So there's still one left, which is on pin 9 and 10.
I was trying to track that down, and I think you can remap these.
You can also like create your own serials, like
Yeah, but
software.
if you remap them to the Groove connector, then it's very easy to get the data out. You don't need another one connected. You can just put it up there.
I don't. What pins are on the Groove connector?
Oh, I do not recall. There are the SLA and the SL. No, the SLA and SDA, I think, on it. There's 2.
I see a 5.
Hold on, I can share the screen.
Oh yeah, if you zoom in
that works.
the back, you can see them. On the Groove,
Oh, 5-fold. 32 and 33.
Yes, I
5 is
believe it's
probably
32 and 33 can be
Yeah, right.
mapped to, that's
Oh,
the
this
ones
is
you
the
use.
core 2. Wait, let me.
Go ahead. Is that the one you bring out for the groove connector? The 32, 33? Or 21, 22?
I think that's a groove connector. All right. So I think it's okay to use the groove connector on the device itself for like simulation functions.
Right.
Although I'm just thinking, like, if we want to do like a full simulation of the device, we can maybe, like, if we also want to connect a Geiger counter, for example, how would we then connect the Geiger counter emulation device? Is that
We cannot run it on the same device, or
no? The idea is that we can use
different serials.
like,
Yes, that's
like
true.
different.
Yeah.
Well, Geiger counter's not a serial, of course, but like maybe on a breadboard or something that you can plug it in, and then, or then you wouldn't really need the groove connector either.
No.
Or I could just connect the Geiger counter like directly to the pins on the back, and then the GPS on the groove connector, so we can also use it on the device itself if we don't want to take it off and just use the actual Geiger counter, for example.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we should probably add like a debugging mode where it doesn't write logs or write different logs, or adds like some property to the log that the API will never accept it, because it's all, if it's fake data, then
yes,
shouldn't be.
go. That's correct. It should automatically go to dev mode or something like that.
Well, dev mode still makes a journal.
Not even that.
Like we can still write a journal, but like maybe void all values. Like just write a V instead of an A in the logging lines, so it would never be seen by the API. Something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
All right.
You have some thoughts about that, Michael, or?
No, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay.
I was just trying to confirm people being able to map serial 1 to other pins. It looks like that's happening.
Yeah, you can write, like, if you use software serial, you can basically use any pin.
Yeah, software serial has its limitations, though. I know we have a fast processor, but I'd rather not go down that route to create possible. Yeah, hardware serial would be better if we can get it to happen.
I think in the core, the hardware serial is on pin 11, 10 and 11.
Internally.
Internally.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check.
Okay.
Oh, it's 9 and 10 based on this.
Close.
But I'm not sure if the core. Oh wait, this is the core 2. I don't know if they're the
Core 1 is
same.
different, I think.
Right.
I remember we did some mapping difference for those.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, the core 2 and the core 1 have different like UART2 connections.
Oh,
But that's right, because those are like 13, 14 on the core 2, and let's see, where's the core 1? Is this M5 core 2? M5 core pins? 16 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
But then the TX and RX2 are 1, so UART 1 is not defined. So it uses the default, which is
21, 22?
no, 9 and 10.
Oh, 9, 10. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if these pins are available on the cores.
Mm.
I don't see it on the
No.
back side of the core 2.
Yeah, that was something I was missing as well. So I guess they are not available then. So we don't have a hardware serial. I guess we can use software serial. Might be limited, but
We could try it. But they also sometimes these processors offer pin remapping that you can do. I'll have to see if I can make that happen. See what's going on. It'll take some digging to figure it out.
Or maybe take your time for it.
Yeah.
Don't do it now.
No.
no rush.
No.
It's
No
nice to
rush.
have GPS emulated, but if we have a device, we can
Yes.
just continue work, of course.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Very good.
Uh,
We have to talk about more things because I like to
yeah, well, there was
close it.
one thing, Rob, you mentioned for the fixed mode, the screen, we didn't really have a design for it yet. Although you did mention that you wanted to see the microsieverts.
Yes, I think so. That would be useful.
Yeah, I
That
was
was
thinking like maybe we can somehow keep the screen like as minimal as possible. Just
I prefer
microsieverts
that.
is. Yeah, I was just thinking like, which one would be more relevant, or are they both relevant? Because I know you use fixed mode in your car, which is a bit different situation, of course. But if I leave it here on my desk or at the window in fixed mode, I don't really look at it. So I don't know if showing microsieverts really adds anything to the mode itself. Or
No, but I think
yeah.
it's nicer to be consistent with the drive and the survey to have both displayed at the same time. That's a more ethically consideration than really practical.
Yeah, that is true. Although it's also nice to have like real difference in screens between modes, so you won't get confused with which
That's
mode
true.
you're in. So.
But when I was showing the screen to somebody and he said microsieverts, what's a microsiever? I said, oh, it's not there. I said, oh, but it can be useful to know. I think so.
But we can add it like as a small number. I was also thinking like the CPM on the fixed mode could also be smaller, and we can add like more. Like I was thinking like moving the. If I look at this. Like moving everything, all the text on one side, and have like bigger QR code on the right side.
That could also be, yeah.
So,
Although the
like
QR code seems to work always, so I think the size is correct. They have much more space for other
I
things.
had some problems with trying to scan it. Like I have to really like to zoom in, or like it took me like 4 seconds instead of a normal 1 second. No, but it's all right. The small one is actually quite nice.
Yeah, I like that. It's also kind of sophisticated to see a small one. Looks like a more higher resolution than just a big thing on it.
Yeah, I was playing around with the QR code versions. Like you have like lower versions are like less bytes that you can put in, but for just a URL, it's still enough. And then you can even make very small ones if you only want to have like a shortened URL, for example.
Yes, I've seen
like
that.
a bit.ly, and then some key behind it. Then we can use a really small QR code, which is also cool. All right, well that's it. I'll add the microsecrets to the screen. That's nice.
Yeah, that would be good. Okay, great.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, we'll meet again next week. Yes.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
good.
the plan.
Sounds good.
I hope Michael is going to be better.
Yeah.
And I hope
so
Louis can the skiing is finished, or
No, he said
he
that
can join.
in his note, he said that he's got a couple of more weeks, I guess.
I see.
I thought
Yeah.
you said till March. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, probably.
At least a few more weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
let's hope we can get him in. That would be nice.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for everybody for the joining.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good week.
Okay.
You
All
too.
right. Bye.
I'll be off.